All right. See, I'm sweating now. Now I'm like running around, touching all the mics, the cameras. That's the only thing I don't like about this office. I hate that you can't control the AC in here.
I would hate that too.
Oh, it's horrible. Especially, I mean, in the winter. I mean, I'm trying to get more in my adult clothing phase.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to get more like, we're wearing nice shirts and
I was
pants.
going to actually say to you, wow, you look great.
I know, and I'm sweating now. I'm sweating now.
I do, right?
I'm sweating now. So normally I'd be in gym clothes and I'd be nice and cool and, have a cut off underneath.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Now I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's been like long overdue. I think we talked first at Di Lorenzo's wedding. That's when I first said you got to come on the episode.
Yes, correct. That is exactly.
We were having a fitness debate.
Yes.
We were saying all these things at the table. We were talking. I forget what the actual debate was on. I think it was just like on coaches and the industry and whatnot. Which
it was.
We could dive into that. I'll let you steer that conversation. But we were talking about all that stuff, and I said, "Yo, you got to come through because obviously I only know you towards the Bev side of things."
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to
There's so much more to me.
Francesca story that a lot of people don't know.
There's so much more to me.
So first and foremost, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So besides an impressive physique that we all see now, I mean, let's be honest, you got the craziest legs.
Thank you.
It's insane.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's insane.
Thank
It's
you.
insane.
I appreciate
I remember
that.
seeing you in the off season and I was like, you look like you're a part horse.
Yeah,
like,
it felt like I was part horse.
Have you always been built like that? Have you always had that muscle density?
100%. Yeah. I grew up as a gymnast. So crawling around in diapers over the baby gates, that's where it literally all started. But gymnast into lifting, into CrossFit, into bodybuilding. So it's just build the entire time.
What got you into the gymnast side of things? Just being young? Just were you?
My parents literally knew like, oh, this one's got to go. Like as a baby, she's got to go into tumbling. And then I went into gymnastics as a kid. And then I was just good. So they just kept me going. And then I was competitive for like 10 years of my life, 12 years.
All right, explain the competitive side to me. I don't understand the scoring. I don't understand like when I see them stick the landing or if they like have one foot come out. What is it?
They just judge literally everything that you're doing. And honestly, because it was so long ago, I don't even know how they score anymore. I have no idea. And I don't know if that's like evolved into something else, at least now, right? But it's definitely like you'll see like if you watch me with bodybuilding and the way that I pose and like the fingers and everything, it all comes from the foundation of gymnastics.
What do they call that? That's the routine?
Routine.
Okay.
Yes, you're doing great.
See, I'm doing okay.
You're doing
okay. I watched a little bit of the Paris Olympics. I
yeah.
Bit.
But it just, what can you do with talent and being poised all at the same time, right? And confidence and all of that. But it's a lot of.
Do you miss it?
No, I don't at all. But I guess you could say because I kind of lived that out, like that part of me out when I went into CrossFit. Because then there was like, not that there was like the routine side of things with, presenting yourself, but there was like the handstand walking and the muscle ups and just anything that was gymnastics related. So I kind of got to like get into that inner child again.
Yeah.
So it's just been like phases of my life where I've got to continue to like push back into gymnastics in some way, shape, or form.
So you do the gymnastics. Did you do that in college as well?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Why'd you drop off?
Okay. So fun fact, when I was little, I think I was about 12 or 13 years old. I was going to gymnastics 4 times a week or something like that for like 3 hours at a day or at a time. And I got to a point where I was so done with it. I was just tired of it. It wasn't fun for me anymore. I was missing like birthday parties and hangouts with my friends or play dates, whatever. And I wrote my mom a letter as a child. And I was like, it's my body and I get to do what I want with it. Oh. And I was like, I'm done with, I was going to say CrossFit, with gymnastics. And she was like, oh, okay. But she also was just like, I'm not going to pay this money anymore for you because it's expensive. Yeah. I mean, kids and sports in general is so insanely overly priced, but gymnastics is crazy with the amount of money that you're paying.
Is it the tournament, like the competitions? Is it the monthly for the gyms that you go to?
All of it. Yes.
What does a gymnastics gym cost?
I don't know.
Very curious.
I don't know. All I know is that it was expensive. Yeah,
now,
Google.
Yeah, I'm Googling this.
Hey, Siri.
Siri's shut.
And you have to think too, because I'm 35. So what was it back in, 20 years ago? Oh my God. That's so, to say that out loud is painful.
It's crazy, right?
Yes.
I was just having this conversation about time passage with a buddy of mine and how, like, I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast sometimes, but you remember little blips of days or experiences throughout your life.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, my mind, I thought for the longest time you had to remember every single thing that you did every single day, and you'd have this crystal clear image of everything.
Yeah.
But it's not. And as you're getting older, not only is it fading in certain areas, but it's almost like when you were 20, you probably remembered when you were like 10 or 12. When you're 30 now, because I'm 33, when you're 30 now, you can remember the beginnings of your 20s and a couple of things of your mid to early teens.
Yeah.
But it almost like the blank, it starts to just keep receding backwards to like decade instead.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's pretty crazy. Unless like something is triggered and you're like, oh my God, wow, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't have ever taken your mind there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But if you search Cherry Lane Gymnastics, because that's where I went.
Is it on Long Island?
Yeah.
So you were born and raised on?
Yes.
Okay.
Were you?
I was.
That's what I thought, right?
Yeah. Hempstead, West Hempstead, then I moved to Dix Hills, Melville area.
Okay, yep.
And from there I moved to Plainview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up and graduated in Garden City. I was all over the place because my parents got divorced, and then I went from this town to that town and that town.
Same.
Yeah. And then it was just like, keep her in the school district.
Yeah, it's tough when you have to keep mixing and matching with new friends, new people.
Ugh. Yeah.
I don't know about, I want to hear your opinion and experiences, but like from me moving from that pre-elementary phase to then elementary school to then moving to the middle school again, it was 3 separate moves and it was horrible. And then you're trying to keep in touch with your old friends, but because they live in another town, you rely completely on your parents to like bring you places to hang out and whatnot. So it's just it's a lose-lose situation. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll just make friends with the people in my new town. And, if you don't like them, you're kind of shot now.
Yeah. I lucked out. I was in Garden City throughout the entire thing.
Oh, okay.
All of it.
But it was the location of where you lived was different.
Yes. Like one of my parents would stay in the school district area. I think it was up until like you had to be in 10th or 11th grade. And then you could have moved outside of it, but be within a specific like perimeter of the town. So my dad moved to Rockville Center because that was like where you were allowed to still continue to go to Garden City. And then, and then he got basically the hell out of Rockville Center once I graduated because I was the baby.
Rockville Center's kind of cool now.
It's great.
They built it up.
I haven't been there in forever.
Yeah, I mean, you got when I say they built it up,
sushi.
I mean they do like a lot of new restaurants. They have a lot of the apartments around the area.
I bet.
They do make it an experience, and I like that about the certain towns. I like that with Babylon. I like that with Huntington. I like that with all these different places.
I can see how they would totally be able to do that with Rockville Center too.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And you have the trains to go right into the city, so it's nice and easy for commuting.
Yeah. How is it price wise now?
I think it's about the same as like where I'm at in Huntington. Okay. I'm not gloating about these prices, but I'm paying over $3,000 for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah,
like it's a lot of money.
You're looking at though.
It's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so then you have the people that go, oh, well, just buy a house, and it's like,
I know.
Hey, y'all seen the house prices, right?
Yeah, the house prices,
mortgages,
like taxes that you have to deal with on Long Island. It's insane. Also, the down payment that you have to do in order to like have a decent mortgage.
Oh yeah, 10 to 20%. I mean, my mom's a mortgage broker, so it's like I hear it all the time, and it's insane. 10 to 20%, and then on top of that, now God forbid, let's say that's most of the money that you had saved up for the time being. Now, what happens when the AC unit goes or the refrigerator blows?
Which it will.
Oh, it will, because that house is not brand new.
Yep.
So those shits are going to go and have problems. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now I have to dip into either a credit card or something else because
it happens right away.
It's just, it's tough.
Yeah.
So it's like when I look at $3,000 a month to rent, I'm able to call my landlord if something blows and be like, yo, fix that shit.
And also permission for entry because I'm not going to be home. So please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please.
I know. I totally hear you. I agree.
Yeah, it's a constant debate because I have friends that are, like I said, mortgage brokers, my mom, realtors. My mom said, do not buy right now. She's like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Wait, just see what happens.
Yeah.
And then one of the interesting things is I have friends in all other areas of the country and they keep telling me, move to Texas. Come move to here.
Would
Come
you
move
ever
here. I would think about it.
Yeah.
I would think about it.
Yeah.
Besides family and, some of my clients that I work with.
Yes, I know.
I don't really have like a reason.
Do you have siblings?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just
I'm
me.
one of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tribe.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But I hear you. Is your immediate family though over here?
They are.
Yeah.
I have a small family.
Okay.
So my parents split up when I was the abbreviated Nick Rizzo story is my parents split up when I was 2.
Okay.
My dad moved back with his parents for a little while in Franklin Square, and then he moved to Comac, and then he moved to Lynbrook, and then he moved to Freeport. So he's made quite the.
Did both of your parents grow up on Long Island?
They did, Franklin Square area.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did they know each other for forever?
They didn't, no.
Okay.
They went to the same school, but they didn't.
Wow.
They weren't like at all in touch with each other in school. They met after. So, so like my parents split up, dad kind of shuffled around. My mom and I shuffled around. I've always been closer with my mom and her side of the family.
Okay.
My dad's side of the family is just not awesome people. They're just not nice. They're just not good humans.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I always tried to see my dad and do things. And over the years, our relationship just wasn't what it could be as a father and son. Yeah. So Rizzo is my mom's last name. Okay. So I use my mom's last name more so than Puya, which is my dad's last name. Okay. A lot of people don't know that.
Are you legally?
I have both legally in my name.
Both? Yeah. Which one's first?
It's Nicholas Rizzo Puya. So my mom's is first, technically.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have the whole name in there. So sometimes with credit cards, like Rizzo's on it. Sometimes Puya's on it. I'm always like, which name do you guys have? Like I forget sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always used Rizzo, and that's gonna be like a little nugget for a lot of people. They don't.
Yeah,
a lot of people. It's fun. What's funny is a lot of my friends that were before college know me as Puya.
Yeah.
So you'll get people that'll say, "Oh, Nick Puya, what's up? What's up?" And they'll be like, "Who?" Like some of my other friends will be like, "What?"
How do you spell that?
Puya.
Okay.
So it's the same village or town in Italy. Okay. Puglia.
Oh.
Pugglia.
Oh.
So that's how they said it at Ellis Island because that's how it's pronounced, Puglia. And they just put Puya, which is not how you originally pronounce it.
Got it.
So, I did kind of like the shuffle and all that stuff. And I've always been close with my mom's family side of things. And we're small. Like it's my mom, her sister, my cousin Diana, my cousin Michael, my Aunt Angela is my mom's sister. And then like my grandfather and my grandmother. Yeah. My grandfather passed away right before COVID. So it's grandma's lives in the same development as my mom. They're down the street from each other.
That's nice.
So I see grandma all the time. I actually got to go set up grandma's Chromecast this weekend.
Love that.
We got adventures coming up.
We love that.
And the holidays are really just us. Like
That's
it's kind of just always been tight knit. So it's tough to think about moving away in that aspect.
I totally hear you.
But then there's the other side of you that just says, is there something that's missing?
I hear you.
Could you experience other things that would not only propel you further into what you're creating for yourself professionally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all the above? Mm-hmm. Could it bring a better quality of life? Mm-hmm. But that's kind of where this little debacle started, where it's like, I have all my friends that tell me, move here, move here, move here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it used to be a much cheaper scenario.
Yeah.
But nowadays, cost of living is not that much different.
I know, like people are like, come to Texas. And I'm like, well, Texas is also climbing up. Not that I would personally move to Texas, but that's like an example.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Tennessee is a big one.
Tennessee, I thought a lot about for
Tennessee's a big one.
Yeah.
The issue for me is just not so much the cost of, it's not really so much the cost of the houses and the rent and whatnot. Like, yeah, you'll take a little bit of a hit, a positive hit on the rent coming down a little bit. But it's like, all right, if everything else is the same and you're not getting paid as much for what you do as a professional in New York versus Tennessee, like what's the difference? But to me, it's just 33. I don't know. I'm not meshing with a lot of the girls in the area.
I hear you.
I just feel like there might be something somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what draws me in that way because I can make money anywhere.
I know. I'm the same way.
Yeah. I can make money anywhere.
Literally nothing is holding me back here.
Yeah.
Except my family. That's literally my mom and my aunt is about to move, but my mom really is, and my friends are the only people that are here. So in my eyes, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I would literally be starting fresh somewhere else.
And it's a weird
by
feeling
myself.
because we feel lonely here.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this to my mom, even though I see my mom all the time. Especially when you're single and by yourself, you do feel lonely. It's like a weird lonely though.
Oh, I went through that in prep this year.
Yeah, it's not.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's not a. It's not a like a. Oh my god, I hate being. It's just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
And even when you have
A little
friends,
empty hole.
as we're getting older, everyone's just doing life.
Yeah.
So either they have their significant others, or they're so involved and wrapped up with work, or there's just so many things that happen that just make it harder for us to do what we used to be able to do so freely, which was get together and just chill.
Yeah.
And I also think these anxiety boxes make things worse.
100%.
So I think that these things, by having a friend FaceTime you or having a friend send a text message, they feel like they're keeping in touch, but it's not the same as like when we're actually in person hanging out.
I know. And that's the thing. Like I have that with like my select few friends here that we're just so close and we like really prioritize our friendships. So leaving that is very difficult for me to even think about. But
very social. I mean, you would be able to make friends anywhere you go.
I am social. I'm super social, but I'm also just like at a point in my life where like the older I get, the smaller my circle gets because I don't want bigger circle. I don't need it. I don't want it. I've pushed a lot of people out of my life because I've never been more at peace than I am now. And that's because of who I choose to surround myself with and who I'm like aligned with, you know? But I do feel you.
The peaceful quiet, and I'm going to answer. I already know what you're going to ask. The peaceful quiet is dangerous, though. It's dangerous because you become so accustomed to that quiet.
Oh, yes.
And that peace.
Yes.
That sometimes when you're single, like I've been single for way too long, truthfully. And it's not because, I mean, my standards are pretty high, but it's not, it really is.
I know.
You know, it's not like a flex or a brag. It's just when you're single for such a long period of time, not only you definitely get lonely, you definitely miss companionship because we're human beings and we crave that. We do need that and want that. But the longer that you go, the more you kind of just go, fuck it.
I know.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm chilling. And it really is a problem though, because then the thought of inviting somebody into your life, you know, you're like,
oh, I know.
Like how much friction. And like, I barely have time to go to the gym in the morning, do jujitsu at night, work, take care of my needy little guy over there who's sleeping on the job as usual. Like, like I barely have enough like mental capacity and time to do all that. Then you kind of start going, oh, and it's almost those negative doubts that you have internally that you have to just say, you have to drop your guard and just be like, let it happen. Cause like, you just have to let things be.
I know. Oh, I know. I get it. I get it.
But what were you going to ask? I know you were going to ask.
What's the answer? Yes or no?
What are you going to ask?
Do you want children? And sometimes people don't like to answer these things.
Oh, no, I'll answer it.
But it's also just like, I support either decision.
So
I feel like I know your answer.
I do want kids.
Okay.
But as I'm getting older and we talk about that being by yourself more and more.
You're okay if it doesn't happen.
You start to look at like, what are the trade-offs?
Yes.
And I think there are people that say they never wanted kids and they never wanted this, that, and then they have kids. And it's one of the most fulfilling things that they say that they've ever had. But it's also one of the most stress-induced, anxiety, angry, like because you're just dealing with these very selfish little creatures. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I told you about Kenji with the epilepsy. That was like traumatic.
Yeah.
That was crazy. 2-year-old dog having seizures like that. And I just moved into my first apartment. That was fucking crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I told my mom, one of my dreams last night, ironically, I called her this morning, we were talking. One of my dreams, it was like a nightmare, was that I had an apartment in the city and an apartment out here for some reason.
Already a nightmare.
But Kenji was out at the apartment on the island and we were in the city. And I was saying he needs his pills because he needs pills every 12 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, he needs his pills in the next 30 minutes and we're way further. And she was like, oh no, I can make it back in time. I'm like, no, you can't. We're over an hour away.
Yeah.
It has to be within 12-hour windows. So a little bit of trauma there. There's a little bit of like, you start realizing you're like, holy shit, I'm having nightmares about the dog missing his pills.
Yeah.
So, okay, that obviously hit me a little deeper than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But back to kids. I think the one of the benefits of being a man is I can have kids whenever.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing because it gives me plenty of time to find somebody that I'm compatible with.
Yeah.
If that's the process and the journey that takes me on.
Life takes you, yeah.
I thought I wanted that white picket fence when I was younger.
Yeah.
I think we all were brainwashed into that.
I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I never thought about it. Like I never desired it. Like I was like, yeah, I guess. But it takes specific people to be put in my life. Like obviously, I'm not obviously, but I'm talking about a man.
Yeah.
For me to crave and desire that with them. And now I'm at a place where I am single and I'm like, oh, I do want this because I feel it when I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, oh, I totally want to be a mom. Totally.
Okay. So you do want to be a mom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And if it happens for me, I would love for that more than anything. You know, I hope that I am lucky enough to be able to have that one day. But if, I don't know, however life unfolds for me, like then cool. But I have also considered to be like, well, let's see where life takes me. Am I having a child with somebody, or do I eventually get to a place of my life where I'm like, fuck it, I'm not waiting for somebody anymore. Mm-hmm. I am now going to proceed with doing this for myself, by myself, and take that next step for me. I would 100% consider that.
I think it's tough for a woman to do that though, like by herself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I don't want to speak for women, but I do think that would be a very, like, although I'm all for empowering.
So many reasons.
I'm all for empowering women. I really am. Like, my mom's a single mom. I get it. Like, but she had a very hard time.
Yeah, my mom too.
Difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot on two people doing it together. Yeah. So for a single person to do that by themselves, but I do think about like what I have to offer to be able to like create a human. I want to create a human. Do you know how badass my child would be? Will be, not would be. Will be.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
So I have two.
Killer kid.
I have two of my friends. I don't think they announced it yet, so I'm not going to say names. Mm-hmm. But they got married.
Congratulations, anyway.
Yeah, there you go. They got married a couple of years ago, and I've stayed in touch with them, and I see them anytime they're in town, and they're just awesome. They're just good people.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies from, high school.
Yeah.
So when we were 16, we were friends. So they didn't want kids originally, and then all of a sudden, she said they decide that they want kids. So this summer they were saying, no, we're trying now, and this and that, blah blah blah, and they were making jokes about it, like can't keep his hands off me, like it's awesome. It's like I'm like, yo, it's great.
I love that.
And then I was the first one that they called.
Oh.
And they said we're pregnant. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So now I get like their little updates of them at the doctor with like my buddy.
I gotta share this with somebody.
My buddy labeled arms for me. I go, bro, baby. He pointed to it. I go, yeah, I know which one the baby is in the big ultrasound of like just one of the little nugget in the middle. Yeah. I know that's the baby.
I love that.
I didn't think it was a Cheeto.
Exactly.
So it's just nice. I think
that's sweet.
I think at our primal basis, we all do yearn for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the paperwork and the legal obligation that has become marriage, I think that has gotten in the way of a lot of people being excited to find somebody because they're worried about one another ripping each other apart later in life.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like you see so many relationships start to drift because of kids kind of creating this wedge between the couple. Yeah. And it happens with everybody because now it's not about you guys, it's about them. But it's about meeting in the middle and making sure you're still prioritizing yourself because that's also number one. And then prioritizing the marriage or the relationship. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But you sign up for it. So it's like.
You do sign up for it. I mean, well, sometimes. Sometimes it's accidental sign up.
Yeah. This is
sometimes
true.
The sign up isn't intentional.
This is true.
You didn't dot the T's or you didn't slash the T's, dot the I's.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. You know, my buddy and I were talking the other day and we were discussing life and just being tired during the day and you sleep a whole night, but you still wake up tired the next morning.
Like wake up to go right back to bed.
Yeah. And we were talking about, and it's not even like a depressive state or anything like that. It's just a monotonous type of a situation where it's like, oh God. So I'll look at, fuck, it's Thursday again. Like, that's crazy.
I know, it's insane.
And then we're going to blink and it'll be Monday.
I know.
And you're just.
And then it's 2025.
Yeah.
When the fuck
did
that happen?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, we were trying to remember a time when we didn't have these feelings.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it was when we were younger. And I came to the realization, and I told him, I said, dude, life's different now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we have so much more on our shoulders. When we were younger, we didn't realize what our parents were going through and why they were cranky some days and this and that. We didn't understand it. We just thought, oh, mom's in a bad mood. Oh, whatever. Like, oh, okay, whatever. Life's great. Yeah, life's great. Why are you so mad? Like, just all these different things. But now having physical activity needs every day, intimacy and partner needs if you're in a relationship, kids, pets, bills, work,
all of it,
all this stuff. Keeping up with social media, like for your business, like all of these things that we have to do in a single day, and eat,
and eat,
and breathe,
and drink your water,
and drink your water.
I know,
and track all these things.
Yeah,
our brains are just constantly going.
Especially when you're living in somewhere like where we live.
Yeah,
New York is just go 24/7. Which two things I've implemented recently were like on a rest day because I work from home. And I get that luxury of literally starting whenever I want. I start pretty much the second I wake up, typically, if it's a rest day, because the first thing I do is train if that's on the agenda for the day. But now, instead, if I can allow for this, I will not set my alarm. And I will wake up naturally at like 6:30 anyway. If I'm lucky, I get to sleep in until 7, but that's very rare. And I slow down and I just make myself my coffee. I have my water and I chill. And I force myself right now not to open up my computer. It's so tough, but like I've been implementing that now for a few weeks and it's been like taking me down. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'm chilling out a little bit.
You feel less anxious?
100%.
Yeah. I feel less anxious when I don't scroll through reels for a couple of days.
Yes.
I feel super at peace.
Yep. So then another thing I did was I took all of my notifications off for Instagram. Well, any social media platform. I really only use Instagram, but I don't have any notifications pop up. Whereas like before, I would have, I don't know, something come up. I think like maybe messages only because all day if that was going on for like likes and shit like that.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And with the amount of reels that you send your friends and your family back and forth, because that's like a form of communication nowadays, which is crazy.
A form of checking in.
It's wild.
Here's this funny thing. I was thinking of you.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh, you were? What?
You said that. I mean, I'll send you reels.
Was like, oh, okay. Yeah. What about
I'll send you some reels.
Exactly. But I took that off and I was like, oh, I'm off my phone so much more and it feels so good. It's the best thing I did for myself recently.
So one of the things that I did a while ago, and I haven't used it as much, which I have to get back to, is I have a burner phone. So that is a couple of select, very close friends.
I love that.
And my mom and my immediate family.
I love that.
And that's it. There is no social media on that phone.
Just said this to somebody. I go, I need to invest into a work phone or something.
I made it an Android phone. It's fucking awesome. It's the Samsung Galaxy S24.
Brilliant. I love that. I feel like this is my sign.
Yeah, this is your sign.
Seriously.
So truthfully, what I'll do is after I'm just like, I've had enough of this, I'll turn it off. Because the problem is like my iPad dings, this ding, even when this is off, everything dings
all of it,
still.
Yeah.
So I'll turn this phone off. I'll make sure my laptop's off or it's in a deep focus mode where no notifications come through or whatnot. And I'll use that phone. And like I said, there's no social media on it. It's just, I still feel like I'm connected to the internet and I can go to websites and I can look things up or I can, if I want to go on Reddit, like that's the most social media I'll have on there. I had X on there for a little while, but then I just found I was scrolling on X. So I said, okay, take this off.
Yeah.
And I just want to be able to just tell my mom like, hey, other phone's off. I'm going to jujitsu. I have the other phone with me. And I do that often.
Yeah.
I'll post that I go to jujitsu and I'll turn that phone off. Goodbye.
Love that.
But then I come back, I'll turn that phone on to see if there's any work messages, and then it'll just get blasted with just DMs, messages, calls, and you're just like, oh, okay.
I know. It's so overstimulating.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to just keep up in a digital world.
Yeah.
I have envy, and And I'm sure it's a grass is greener situation because there's always that thought.
Sure.
But I have envy of like middle of nowhere farmers.
Yeah.
It's a weird primal drive
Yeah.
where you have that, fuck, you can make money without just being online all the time.
Yeah.
It must be so quiet.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it must be so quiet to not hear.
Crazy.
You know, perfect example. Think about when we were younger and we had our first phones.
Yeah.
How excited we were whenever we got a message. We had our personalized voicemails with a song or something.
Oh my God.
Everybody had their own text tone, so you knew who messaged you. You were just amped.
Yeah.
Now, oh God, this phone is on silent.
Do not disturb 24/7. I know.
We're paying top dollar.
Why are you getting through to me?
Yeah.
Why do I see your notification? I know. And then when I'm in bed and I forget to put it on or something, which is weird, I'll see like my light go off or I'll get like the alert and then I'm like, hey Siri, put do not disturb on, and I get like pissed.
Siri, shut them up.
Shut them the hell up. It's so true.
I'll just show you. I mean, listen, I didn't want double iPhones. It's snappy and it's nice.
This is nice. Did you take
dope.
pictures or anything on this?
Yeah, it's got like.
Isn't the camera insane on this?
Insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, this is a really nice phone.
It's very nice. And then it's got the stylus at the bottom.
Wait, hold on.
It's got the stylus.
Weird question.
Yo, Samsung, send the check. What the hell?
Podcast, Francesca, 2 p.m.
See? Look.
How much do you pay for this burner phone?
The little stylus.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
You could write things, circle things. Could wave it around and do witchcraft. I bought this unlocked, so I can use it with any service, any carrier, anything.
Okay.
And the cool thing is I didn't want to put it on like Verizon because I have Verizon for that phone.
Okay.
I wound up just doing Google Fi. So Google Fi uses T-Mobile's network.
Oh.
And it's actually really good. And it's just $50 a month, no contract.
Wow.
You can cancel whenever. Unlimited data, unlimited everything.
That's
even
like
when you
an unlimited car wash.
Yeah. even when you international travel.
Nice.
So
wow.
I thought that was a good little investment, truthfully.
I like that.
You know, it's sometimes I'm just like, oh, I haven't used the phone that much this month. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, $50 again, whatever. But it's not a big, in the grand scheme of things, it's nice to be able to
you
just
have the $50 to use. It's not like you're like pinching pennies here.
Yeah.
Where I can understand if somebody else was having like difficulty with that, but
By the way, $100 for recreational classes for gymnastics.
a month?
$100, I guess that's just for a drop-in class.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, there's no fucking way.
$250 to $500 for competitive gymnastics a month.
That's
for the memberships.
Yeah, exactly.
You think it was like $500?
I mean, at the time,
Probably.
it was probably like $250 or something, but that was essentially like $500 then. You know what I'm saying? Like the dollar point.
Competitive
obviously.
classes could be $200 to $400 per month, depending on the athlete's level and training volume.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. I was waiting for that answer.
Yeah, I had it the whole time, and I was like, we just started trailing off.
We're getting back to that.
All of a sudden, we talked about kids, and we were like, that was it. So now let me get back to you. So transitioning from gymnastics, you didn't want to do that anymore. Did you stay active gym-wise, and then you fell in love with CrossFit, or was it just...
Yeah, I literally...
was it bodybuilding type gym, or did you stay to more calisthenics because of the gymnastics?
No, it was more bodybuilding, but like it was... I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It was like, oh, these machines. Okay, let me read the machine. Okay, cool. I'll do 15 reps, move on. Because like back then it was like everything was kind of in order, and I would hit every single machine and do like a few sets on each machine and move on. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing something, and that is what helped me develop into what I got into. So yeah, that happened. And it's funny, fun fact, this was at New York Sports Club. That was my first gym membership in Garden City. And I told my mom, I was like, I want to do this. I want to go there. I need a gym membership. And she's like, okay, then you pay for it. Because I paid for everything that I wanted. Cell phone. I don't think I ever had a beeper. But my sister had a beeper. And I was like, I want the beeper. And then a cell phone came out. I was like, I want the cell phone.
You have a Sidekick? T-Mobile Sidekick?
No, I
didn't have one either.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Or Boost, or did you have the Nextels? Chirp, chirp.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chirp. I didn't have one.
I did have one of those. Oh my God.
That would beat this type of communication any day. To be able to radio talk to somebody real quick.
No, but now we'd be like, get away from me.
I'd be like, oh my God, how do you know this number?
It's so funny.
The extended car, the warranties for the extended cars.
Yep.
They would be hitting you up.
100%.
Did you get your warranty? It's like, no.
God, no.
How'd you get this walkie-talkie?
I know, exactly. Promotions and everything. So went to New York Sports Club, and then that is where Jamal was working.
J Money.
Yeah. And my girlfriends and I were like, oh Like we had the biggest crush on Jamal. The last time I had seen him was literally when I was in high school.
Did he have the afro?
No.
Oh.
He looks exactly the way he does right now.
Oh my God.
So when I went to Bev's, I was on the stairs one day and it just hit me. I was like, oh my God. Because every time I would see him, I'd be like, he looks so familiar. Like, who is he? And then it hit me and I was like, I got to tell him. Like, you were the man that I had the crush, like the biggest crush on as a little girl. Oh my God. It was so funny. And I told him that.
You got to ask him you got to see the afro pic.
Oh my God.
The afro pic was wild.
That's hysterical.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I told him and he was like, it's my birthday too. I was like, well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a crush on you when I was in like 9th grade.
There we go.
That lasted all high school. But yeah, so it went from training every day and I was like very unhealthy. Like I have to go before school. I have to go after school. I'm going to not eat anything all day. Like it was, you remember how we were brainwashed, especially as women, little girls, you have to be skinny. Your collarbones have to pop out. God forbid your thighs fucking touch, right? Like I never wanted I always wanted a thigh gap.
Is that the debate? Is that what that means? I don't know what the debate is.
The whole thing was back then. I don't know if it's still a thing now because I don't live that world, but it was like you needed to be skinny to the point where it was like pretty and sexy and feminine to have a gap between your thighs. That was what you were
see through.
Yeah, so that you didn't have the meat or the muscle.
Touching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Which I mean.
That's not happening.
The one time it happened to me since I was a little girl was when I was in prep last year. And I remember being like, I can wear shorts and my thighs aren't touching anymore. I was mortified because I was so tiny. But then this year I was like, yeah, I've put on enough muscle where my legs are still touching. But yeah, that was the thing. And then from going to the gym, I started to like obviously learn things. And then I became educated within it. And
where were you getting your information back then?
Bodybuilding.com.
Yep. T-Nation?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Geez. Yeah. Uh-huh. Anything. We had all those resources.
This is what year now for you? Because you're only a couple years older than me.
Mm-hmm. 2 years, right?
I'm 33. 91.
What? So I started when I was in 9th grade.
Yeah, okay.
So whenever that was. And then
because I found John Meadows when I found John and Elite FTS and all those guys. Mm-hmm. I found those periodicals, like what they were writing, the articles and whatnot. It's got to be like 2013.
Yeah.
It's like when I started diving into that world heavy.
Yeah.
Before then, it was reading all muscular development.
Yeah.
It was sneaking out of school and going to GNC.
Yeah.
To buy.
I worked at a vitamin shop.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Like in my early 20s. But yeah.
Muscle Tech. I was buying a ton of Muscle Tech.
Oh my God.
Anabolic Halo. They had that powder. I don't even know what the fuck it did. We bought it anyway.
Remember Jack 3D?
Yes.
The original formula?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, my brain still remembers it.
Or Oxy Elite. Do you remember that fat burner?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How I'm alive, I don't know.
What did I used to take? There was
everything.
Another fat burner I used to take.
Hydroxycut?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. Dude. That was
I like the little I like the little beads in it.
Oh my God. Yes.
The little beads.
Yes. They had those with I think Oxy Elite too. They were, unless they were just purple and white or something like that.
Oh, they got boring. They only made them red now.
Oh.
No wonder your company. Yeah, no wonder your company's failing. Go back to the originals.
Give us back the beads.
Give us the beads.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, I used to sneak out and with a buddy of mine, Albert. Shouts to Albert if you listen. We used to run to GNC like between periods. We would just buy shit.
Did you used to drink the little red lines?
No, never drank the red lines. I was chubby. I was buying fat burners and any product that I thought would help me build muscle.
Yeah.
And I was just popping them.
Yeah.
Didn't have any idea of like
I know
having
having
heart palpitations. Like we had no idea. Like
I was that person too, giving you the education to be like, yeah, no, 2 is totally fine.
Yeah, 2 is great. You're 17? Oh yeah, sure. Your heart's fine. Like yeah, you're good. That's
I'm
awesome.
mortified.
Yeah.
How dare I?
Yeah, that's good. Did you guys get a commission?
No, not with Vitamin Shop.
GNC?
I think they were commission based. I think we were hourly or something. Great benefits though. Benefits, got paid pretty good too. I don't really have complaints with them. I met some really cool people.
Did you?
Yeah.
Not just pill junkies coming in like.
No, but what's crazy is that so when I was doing what was bodybuilding like training at the time, I was working at the vitamin shop in Manhasset on the hell is that called?
Northern Boulevard.
Yes. And I don't think they're open anymore.
The one by Greenvale?
It was right next to the Barnes and Nobles that was down the road from the Americana.
Yep. I used to work at the Apple Store in the Americana.
I used to work at Juicy Couture.
Look at that.
Yep. Good old Juicy.
I was out there.
Weren't allowed to wear your velour suits though on staff.
Are you wearing?
No. It wasn't classy for the Americana. Which makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
I had some very interesting interactions at the Americana.
We probably all have, right?
Uh-huh.
But I met a woman who was opening up a CrossFit gym right down the road from Vitamin Shop. And she looked at me and she was like, do you CrossFit? Because I had the physique. And I was like, what the hell is CrossFit? No, tell me about it though. And then I took one class at her gym that she just opened, or she was about to open. And she was like, come on by. My opening date is blah, blah, blah. And I went and I was sold. Like I literally was about to actually start a prep, or not a prep, but like get into it with a coach that I had met. She was figure at the time, beautiful young chick, and wellness was not a thing.
Would that have been your first prep ever?
Yeah. I was like 23 years old at the time. Probably 23, I think. Yeah, 23. And I was like obsessing. Literally, I would be at Vitamin Shop in the middle of my shift when it was slow, go onto bodybuilding.com and like read all of like the competitor stories. So like all the figure girls, all the bikini girls. And I was always told like, you're too big for bikini. You're too big. You're too big. So I was like, okay, fine. Like I'll think about a figure. But I didn't want to.
Yeah. Figure is tough.
I have the shape for it. It's just like I would have had to build into the shape for it or atrophy and then go down into bikini. And then I got introduced to CrossFit and I was like, wait, this is pretty fucking cool. And then I got to do bar muscle ups for like the first time again. I was like, wait, this is so fun. And then talking back about gymnastics, like I got to now realizing like that was my inner child coming out, which is why I like fell in love with it. And yeah, I mean, like my first workout kicked my ass. It was like burpee box jump overs, a run, come back. But before that you lift. And I was like, I'm strong as fuck. I like this shit. And then that's where the coach there, I started dating him. Of course I did. And what a reputation.
Be like that sometimes. It's all right.
Yeah, no, for real.
Like that.
No, but he was like, yo, you're good at this. Like you have potential. And then he did help me and pushed me into that direction. So yeah, shout out Joe. No, I wish him well. But yeah, and then that was like a decade of my life. Super competitive with it.
Did you do, I mean, I don't really know as far as your CrossFit competitive series. Did you go to the games?
I didn't go to the games. We had, at the time when I was doing it, there were regionals. So I had really started it. Do you know about the CrossFit Open?
Yes.
Like, do you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I know because of the Buttery Bros, because I'm friends with them.
Okay. Yes. So with that, I did really well my first year. I didn't make it to regionals, but this was like a few months basically into it. And then like the ring muscle ups you had to get, and had I maybe gotten like a few ring muscle ups, I probably would have weaseled my way in. I was not ready for that anyway. Bar muscle ups are different, very different story for like a gymnast, of course. But the next year I qualified for regionals individually, I think, or the year after that, I can't remember. And then I went to regionals 2 times as an individual, and then as a team once. But this is like throughout, well, it was pretty much consecutive, but throughout a good chunk of time. And then did like local competitions a lot.
So you would have been a High Rocks person if you were still doing that stuff.
I mean, I guess so, but like, look at me where I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, now people are like, would you ever go back? And I'm like, absolutely not. I don't miss it at all.
And why don't you miss it?
I had my fun with it. It was such a chapter of my life, and that chapter is over. And that's like the only way to explain it. There were parts of me that, so I told you before, once upon a time I was married, and I'm obviously divorced now. And when I got engaged, I was like, I need to change my body. Like, I was so uncomfortable in my skin. And this isn't a knock on CrossFit women or their physiques, but if you do CrossFit and you're pretty good at it, you look like a CrossFitter. That's the same thing. If you're a wellness athlete, you look like a wellness athlete. Bikini, figure, whatever. Same thing applies across the board. And I was so uncomfortable in my skin. And I looked the part. I looked cool as fuck, like competing in CrossFit because I had the physique and everything. But outside of it, like when I would want to go get dressed up, like I would just be like covering up all the time. And I was like, I'm getting married. Like,
you think that's most women that are in that sport that feel that way?
Eventually, yes, 100%. A lot of people will stop because of it, but a lot of people will also stop because it takes such a toll on your body. And I am definitely to play my part. Like, I didn't get body work done. I couldn't afford body work. You know, like now I can support myself and support my muscles and my joints to get me through these things. But at the time, like I was just paying to like pay rent and survive at the time. And then also it was like a hopeless competitor that was like, I gotta go to the games. But I also knew like there's just the way that people are like that today with bodybuilding and they give up everything. I wasn't like that really. Like I was like, okay, I love this, but this isn't my world. And also I kind of knew that I had to apply myself a lot more in order to get to that next level. Like they're freaks. They are freaks of nature. And like they are just phenomenal, crazy, gifted athletes. And not to say I wasn't, because I absolutely was. And I was like one of the greatest in the Northeast for sure. But I needed more guidance. Like I needed like a legit coach that was going to take me under his or her wing and push me. You know, I didn't really have that. I've dealt with coaches, but not like somebody to be on top of me 24/7. Because again, you'd have to pay them. And I didn't have the finances at that time in my life to be able to afford that. Now it's a different story. You know, now I can pay $50 for a burner phone if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I've got a roof over my head. Got a dog that goes to the vet all the time. I got the money to do it. But yeah, so I stemmed away from CrossFit for those reasons. And that chapter was over. And then I was like, I'm never going to compete again. Like I'm done with that. And people, once they saw me in like an LA Fitness, eventually they were like, do you compete in bodybuilding? And I was like, no, absolutely not. I never want to do that.
Yeah.
I love food. I don't like to restrict myself, this, and that. And then I got the itch.
Yep.
And then wellness came out and I had heard about it. I did my research and then found my coach, which I did a lot of research on him, and here I am.
So as a woman going into the sport, what do you think is like one of the biggest issues that you see with coaches and guidance for female athletes?
False advertisement. I think that a lot of women go into this not having enough education, or it's not just the education, it's the willingness to educate yourself, because they'll look at a team or they'll look at somebody that's being promoted on their page or their platform, whatever they're using. And they're like, oh, these people they're kind of like pushing out crazy looking athletes and they look great, right? But they don't know anything about how they're actually pushing them in their off seasons, in their preps. They don't know what kind of gear that they're taking. They don't educate them. They're not making sure their health is optimal in order to get them to those places, in order to enter a prep. So there's like the lack of education there. And there's a lot of people that will just take you on because they just want a quick pinch of
quick monthly, however much they're charging.
Exactly.
That was my coach.
Exactly. So it's like, there's that. And unfortunately, I think that women are very insecure today, where they just want to look apart and they focus and they fixate on the end goal, that they'll do anything. They don't think about the gear that they're about to put in their bodies. They don't do that.
I know young girls that are taking.
It's insane. It's insane.
And pretty substantial amounts.
It's so sad. And that's ridiculous to me. Cause like, did anybody ask you like, hey, well, for the future, do you want babies? Like, what is that looking like for you?
And let's be honest, a 22-year-old chick is probably not thinking about that.
A lot of the times they're not. Some of them are, right? Like I do have a lot of girls that are sitting around that age that those things are very important to them. And I also have to have those conversations. And I'm like, hey, well, first of all, let me tell you about how this is going to work. I'm not just going to take you on board. And then all of a sudden, 2 months into this, okay, what show do you want to do? Doesn't work like that. I need to learn you. I need to build you. We need to build together. And then they understand, they trust me, gain that trust from me while also educating them through the process. And then eventually like we'll focus on that and get through that. But yeah, there's the lack of education because it's just all social media influenced, which is shitty.
Yeah. I remember when I was about to compete, I was so excited to look like the guys in the magazines. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize what it would take to look like that. Yeah. And when I realized it, I went, yeah, that's not for me. Mm-hmm. And so I did my shows. I bowed my head. I bid that industry a farewell. Yeah. But I was in it because of the photos and videos still. Yeah. So I've never left it, but I'm in it, but I'm not in it. Yeah. And I just, once I decided I didn't want to bodybuild anymore, because for a while there, pro card was the only thing I wanted in my life. Yeah. I only wanted to be a pro. Yeah. I was like so amped just for that thought. Yeah. That just like you said with why you'd never go back to CrossFit, because that chapter just closed. Yeah. That's how I feel with bodybuilding for me.
And you're at peace with that.
I'm very at peace with
exactly.
that. I have no interest in aesthetically training. Yeah. It's all performance-based now for me.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think I get from, I don't do anything related to CrossFit, but I loved, my favorite part about it was the strength training. Oh, like I love that more than anything, progressing.
You lift heavy, even still.
Hell
yeah.
You
do, you lift heavy.
Thank you, because somebody at the gym today was trying to, he's teasing me, but like, you're not that strong. I'm like, I'm fucking strong as fuck.
I don't know about that. I've taken videos of you while you're in prep.
Thank you.
And I remember, what were you doing? You were doing the RDLs and you were doing the hundreds?
Probably.
Yeah, you're doing the hundreds RDLs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Most dudes don't do that.
No. Yeah. Thank you. I will say too, I have a lot of, they're probably also kind of DMing me for whatever other reasons. Probably. But they're like, yo, you actually motivate me. I'm like, I should be motivating you. You should be lifting heavier. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And this is a question that's constantly asked to me as of late. They're like, because I'm growing right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even in a growth phase. I'm just growing because of the way I'm training and my work ethic. But a lot of people are like, well, what's your next, step? Like, where are you going? What show are you doing next year? And I'm like, well, first I have to figure out, I have like a gut issue going on right now. So we have to take care of my health first. But then after that, I'm like, if I want to compete again, which I do because I'm a competitor at heart and I would love to, but I have to be very realistic. Like, I'm not willing to risk what other women in my division are, or part of the sport, right? Like, I can't just say my division, but I'm going to talk about my division because that's what I do. You have to use gear in order to be first call outs, in order to go to the Olympia. You will not be able to, there's like 2 girls I know that are natural, and they've made first call outs, or at least one of them did. Shout out Riley. But
we can't use them as outliers.
Because, you just can't. Yeah. And I earned my pro card naturally, anabolic free. But I did my pro debut using for my first time, and I was comfortable with it. I had the greatest.
I saw you say it a couple times in posts and whatnot. You were very, open,
transparent, because you should be. And especially with me being a coach now, and well, I've always been a coach, but doing this with other athletes that are aspiring, to compete as well, I have to be open with them. I have to talk about it. And I hope that makes somebody comfortable to come to me and ask me the questions that I've asked to others, because I did my homework. And I researched and I was asking all of the women in my life that I felt comfortable enough to talk to, like, hey, I'm really nervous. Talk to me about this, and they were helping educate me outside of my coach, of course.
I don't want to know what, because I'm not here to pry.
Yeah.
And I'm just not the person to do that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but still,
That's fine.
I like to just keep things as whatever
Yes.
whatever the people that I have on want to talk about, I want them to talk about it. But I don't really, like I said, I don't want to know what, but I want to know, how did you feel going from one end of the spectrum to then the other then?
It was difficult for me. It was. I felt like I was like, oh my God, like the first time I ever did it. Because I did my growth phase enhanced, 12 weeks. And then it was a longer growth phase, but then I used it enhanced for 12 weeks. It was still kind of difficult for me even through prep because like it wasn't an easy choice for me to make. I accepted it and I was cool with it. But I don't know, there was just, I guess at a point too, I just completely let it go because you have to. You can't like fixate on it. Otherwise that stress is going to go against you. But I did get to a place where I was like, all right, this is my decision. You have to be at peace with this. But I was on top of it. Like I was like, is everything cool? Like what's going on here? And everything was great. I had no bad experiences. With my growth phase, we used something different. I just dealt with a lot of inflammation. A lot of inflammation.
From it?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of inflammation.
Because usually sometimes there are ways that you can counteract inflammation with other things.
Women tend to, I'll just say with primo, women will tend to hold more water and look more inflamed with it. So that was definitely a side effect that I was getting. And it was making my joints uncomfortable. Plus, you actually filmed me with that growth phase.
Yes.
And you saw how I was training. Like it only continued to excel. Like my strength was just like excelling week by week by week. Because I do train like that and I can train like that. But my joints were taking such a hit.
Yeah.
And I was getting work done every single week from body work and a chiro every single week of my growth phase. And I was still like crippled. But then in my prep, it was different and I was comfortable. I was comfortable with it, but I was still like, I don't know how much more I would want to do of this.
Yeah.
So that's something where I'm like, I don't think he's going to listen. But Mark, if you're listening, I was going to say, I think I would approach another growth phase or maybe 2 natural. And then I would consider running a cycle or something for like fullness and stuff like that in a prep. And then ideally I would love to do New York Pro in 2026 because it's like in our backyard.
Yeah.
And that would give me like the whole year to like be human, just live my life because I don't want to do another year of like competing again because an entire year is just like, I'm about to do a gut protocol. That's already going to be a few months there.
Where are you getting the gut protocol from?
Rise, RYZE.
Oh, they have a gut protocol?
Yeah. So they will run, they'll check.
This is a lab on Long Island?
No, great question. I don't know where.
Because I'm interested in getting stuff like that done. I'm always trying to optimize.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They are amazing. I send all of my own athletes to them and then we work like hybrid style. So they'll do, like I just sent in my GI map and I'm waiting for my results. I'm like praying. I'm going to open up my phone after this and get it. Also not because then I'm going to be like, oh, these are the things that are wrong with me.
So what, they're going to tell you what foods are inflaming you or causing problems, or they're going to show you the bacteria that's in your stomach right now and what's inflaming it?
Everything.
It's cool. And what'd you do for that?
Stool sample.
Stool sample. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
No, it was great. It was interesting. But especially when this is the stuff that I'm learning myself because my coach mentors me. So like all of our mentorship calls, like you learn and like, it's crazy, but like you're looking through your stool and you're like, well, there are parasites in this shit. Like what's going on over there?
I want to run a parasite cleanse. I'm very interested in that. I eat a lot of sushi, so I'm sure I got some bugs in my gut.
It's wild. So they might either be present when the person goes or when you're doing like when you're killing off once you actually know your results. So once you start to like do a kill phase or something, then you'll actually
They're going to give you a kill phase too?
Depending on what's going on with me, you go through like a primer phase and it essentially is like peeling off the inflammation, which Mark is my coach. Mark and I have been doing for the last few weeks. We went on to a low FODMAP diet because I have to. If I eat something that's high FODMAP with foods,
what does that mean?
Essentially like things that are causing disruption with your GI.
And how did you
So-
find those out?
Which part? The foods?
Finding out things that caused disruption in your GI.
Constipation.
Okay, so it's more so just trial and error of when you eat something, you feel the results.
Yes. Like
dairy rips me apart.
I don't do dairy.
Yeah, dairy rips me apart.
Gluten, dairy.
But I can eat. But it's funny because I get dairy from the grocery store, like cheeses and whatnot. I can eat. I can't eat. But if I get ice cream, like real ice cream with sugar, no issues.
Isn't it crazy?
So weird.
I know. The body is just so wild in how it works.
But you were saying gluten.
Gluten, dairy, like those have always been an issue for me regardless, like from years. Not celiac, but gluten does cause disruptions for me. But if I was to eat something as simple as like an apple, high FODMAP food, I would just like distend.
High FODMAP. Mm-hmm. So there's a list of those foods. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, so there's a list of those foods.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's called
wild.
FODMAP?
FOD, yeah, FODMAP. High or low. But yeah, so you're trying to
look at that.
Take a look at that.
Look at that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have heard of this before. I don't think I've ever actually looked at it.
Yeah. So what people will do, they're like, oh, well, like I have IBS, or they're normalizing all these things out there for themselves. And they're like, oh, I'll just like hop on a low FODMAP diet. It's like, we're not meant to live off of a low FODMAP diet. Like that's not what the body is intended to do or how it's supposed to operate. So you need to heal whatever is going on internally in order to be able to tolerate high FODMAP foods. Now, obviously, if somebody's like celiac, that's just something that you have to work around and you can't really do anything about. But there's always some sort of solution here.
Mangoes, huh?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, fructose I get, high fructose corn syrup.
Of course.
Concentrated fruit sources, large serves of fruit. That just means large servings of fruit.
Maybe.
Dried fruit juice. Honey.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I love honey.
I know.
Milk from cows, goats, or sheep, custard, ice cream, yogurt, all cheeses basically, artichokes, asparagus, beetroots, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Damn, it's like nothing else left to eat. Cabbage, fennel.
So the way that it makes you miserable is if you look at the high FODMAP foods.
Yeah.
The way it makes you feel better is if you look at the low FODMAP foods.
They're right here.
And like if you're with me and you're like, oh, okay. So these are the things I'm allowed to eat.
Arrowroot, millet. Haven't gotten enough arrowroot in a while. Really been lacking the arrowroot.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Meats aren't on this though.
I have like chicken. I have beef or turkey.
Do you do better with red meat versus chicken?
Turkey or beef, turkey, chicken, and then I have eggs. But those are my protein sources.
Okay.
What was the other thing? What's crazy to me is the fact that like so I was having GI issues at the end of my prep. What now, looking back at it, we thought was like a stomach virus or food poisoning must have been just a flare up from what is now going on. And then it exacerbated because of so many other reasons, but like probably because of the stress that my body was under, the circumstances of prep. Like I was at the tail end. So we were like trying to
exacerbates everything.
Oh my God. We were trying to do anything to just fucking get to the finish line. And then I didn't go to the bathroom for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yo.
It was horrible.
I would have freaked out.
I was. So, and that only is.
And I'm sorry.
No, please.
Did you try?
Oh, don't you worry. I'm about to tell you.
Miralax and everything?
Oh, let me tell you everything. So he was like, you just need to chill because the more that you stress about this, the more you're not going to go because stress will cause disruption and will cause
and you're eating
inflammation. I mean, barely eating, but
okay.
I was eating like 1,200 calories. So the thing is, he was like,
gotta go somewhere.
Exactly. He was like, do you feel empty? And I was like, I mean, I'm so tiny right now. Like I had no waist that it's like at the end of the day, no, because I wasn't going, but I would wake up and feel good. So it was like, it was weird. But then I was like, bro, it's been 2 weeks. Like, he's like, we got to get this the fuck out because this isn't good. And not for the sake of prep, for the sake of my health. Like, we got to do something about this. I started with Miralax.
Oof.
Nothing. Like 2 Miralaxes a day. Nothing.
How many days?
for 2 or 3 days. I
This is
did
after
that.
2 weeks. So you're 2 weeks and 2 days in now.
Mm-hmm. And then we pushed in magnesium calm at the end of the night. Kind of started to get something going. Then I did magnesium with there's like a Senna tea out there. It's called Smooth Move.
Yeah.
And I did 1 tea bag and the calm, and it was like barely anything. Finally, the 2 bags and the calm, that was what was helping me go. In the meantime, throughout this time period as well, I was doing a GI drink, AM and PM. So that helped like cause like less inflammation for my intestinal lining. But yeah, we had to literally take everything. And then I was literally, I'm just going to say it as it is.
Say it.
TMI, but like shitting my brains out.
Oh, yeah.
Either like morning or night or like throughout the middle of the day. But it was relief because like I was finally going.
You're bound up.
Oh my God.
Have you had a colonoscopy?
No.
Yeah, go get that done.
Yeah.
Go get that done.
Yep.
I had one. I had rectal surgery.
Oh, I know.
2
That was one
years
of our
ago.
first conversations.
Yes, rectal
Anal
surgery.
fissures.
Anal fistula. Hate that name. Horrific name.
It is a horrific
for anything
name.
near your butt.
Sounds worse.
Please don't say that. I said to the doctor, like, it's a fistula. I said, I don't know what that is, but please don't say that.
These are talks though in your 30s. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's crazy that like this is so normal to talk about.
But well, you know what? I think it's also normal because we're in the fitness industry ish. So it's like, we talk about blood work and stool samples
it.
and all this stuff.
It's also just being a fucking adult.
Yeah, like, okay, fuck. Yeah, I know the people that are all bound up about talking about things like this. I know you chuckle when you fart by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Relax. Like,
Also get over it.
yeah, I know you chuckle when you
Yeah.
hear a fart. Please stop.
Literally.
Yeah, so it was that was quite the interesting thing. And I when I started jujitsu and I was going so hard at jujitsu, like I started having some spotting and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is this thing coming back? And I went to the doctor. He's like, bro, you're like ripping into the scar tissue. I'm like, all right, motherfuckers are trying to choke me out. I don't know what to tell you, brother.
For real.
Stitch it up and let's go. Like, let's get it going.
No.
So it's just, it was quite the thing. And then ironically, my cousin had it 7 months, 8 months after I had it. He got one.
God.
It's actually pretty common. And
Yeah.
they don't talk about them.
My aunt has them.
Fistulas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Horrible.
You get them in your heart. So I'm kind of glad it was down there.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'd prefer that. That
Yeah,
was probably the
definitely.
most ideal fistula location, minus the name. We're never gonna do that again.
Yeah.
I have to get back on to my eating schedule. It's been tough. It's been tough. It's just tough because like I'm so all over the place, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like I haven't hit my protein goal in a long time. I've probably eat. I know.
How dare you?
I know. I've probably had, I don't know, on average maybe 100 to 125 grams a day.
No,
If that.
That's so little.
If that.
It's like for a teenager.
I know, if that. Yeah.
It's crazy to me because protein is like the easiest thing for me to take down.
Not
Well,
for
don't
me.
get me wrong. I can literally, if you tell me to eat, I don't care how much food it is. I'll be like, okay.
I'll eat a ton of but for a while there, I thought I had hemochromatosis with the high iron levels that I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And then
That's me right now, high iron.
you have high iron?
Yeah.
I thought I had hemochromatosis. Are what's your background?
Like
Like
ethnicity?
Ethnicity.
Italian.
Yeah. So you may want to go get checked.
Interesting.
Yeah. So generally, women don't show for hemochromatosis because they bloodlet naturally every month. But women in menopause that don't lose any blood, they show hemochromatosis later on, where men show it earlier. They used to call it bronze diabetes. Like, it's pretty crazy. Your body essentially just doesn't know what to do with excess iron, as opposed to a normal person.
Right.
It just gets it out of the system. It'll actually start to store in your brain, heart, and liver.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
So I thought I had it, and I got the gene test because my
Yeah.
iron levels were high for a while.
Yeah.
I got the gene test, and I don't have it. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I was avoiding red meat. I was
Yeah.
trying not to eat anything like that. But then, I don't know what to eat anymore. I think the further down the rabbit hole of what they're putting in our food, all the bad shit out there,
Kind
is
of
and
getting
that.
in your head.
You get in your own head.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I walk through the grocery aisles and I'm just like, all right, well, we're sticking to the outside again.
But are you somebody that is good with being like repetitive and like monotonous?
Yes
with,
and no.
like,
I was with bodybuilding, and generally I eat the same things, but it's like I'd also like to not eat the same thing every single day. Like,
Yeah.
eat different things.
Well, yeah, that totally. But at least if you have like your foundation of like, I don't know, however many.
The problem is eggs are barely any protein. They're not that much protein. So they're barely any protein. So then we talk about, all right, so supplement with a whey, 50 grams of whey, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, you get a little bit of whey. Okay. But then it's like 8 ounces of ground beef. It's like 40 grams of protein. So you're just like, ugh. Okay. And then you're just trying to get it down. But when we're busy through the day, you're like, all right, I didn't get to eat.
Do you know what's like the easiest meal that you can implement?
Talk to me.
You like cereal?
I do, but I don't buy cereal anymore.
Okay, but
And oats tear me up. Can't do oats anymore.
What if you were to buy a cereal, which cereal, like an easily digestible carbohydrate?
I know everything that's in it now.
I know, okay.
I can't buy a cereal.
That's why I'm trying to think like more of the cleaner ones. I don't really know what
There's
it
not that
says.
many. With 3 spoons or something like that? 3 wishes?
Oh, no.
Some shit like
Magic
that.
spoon or
Magic
something
spoon.
like that, right?
There's Magic Spoon, then there's like another one, 3 wishes or some shit like that. I don't know.
I have a lot of clients having cereal, whether it's like a rice check, something simple, or like a Lucky Charms, which I know that you're going to be like, no, not the Lucky Charms, the artificials.
I can't take more Red 50.
But what they do with it is they'll have their protein shake, whether it's a scoop or 2, and then they'll use it basically as their
the milk. Yeah.
So it's just like an easy way to take back like
I used to do
50 grams right there.
I used to do the sludge.
Yeah.
Two scoops of whey in a bowl, add a little bit of water, stir it up, a little bit of water, stir it up until it's like a paste.
Yeah.
Put frozen blueberries in there.
Yeah.
On top of it.
No, it's so good.
It
To me,
coats
I
it.
love that.
It is, but it's like it's the same shit over and over again. It's like, oh God, okay. And then truth be told, it's like I'm trying not to get like all that much whey constantly, protein shakes in every single day. You're just like more and more filler food feels like instead of real food.
Yeah.
I'd rather just eat a ribeye.
Yeah. I mean, make yourself a ribeye.
I do. But, you know, ribeyes are $20 a ribeye right now.
I know.
For good ones.
Yeah.
Look up the Rice Chex nutritional.
Oh, God. Not those extra ingredients.
I want to see it. I need to know. I just had this conversation 4 seconds with a girl on one of the dating apps. It was like 3 seconds. I put on one of the note, like the little boxes, I said, together we could. And I said, be conspiracy theorists together. And she just goes, which one do you want to dive down? How I was like, I'll let you pick the first one. And she just goes, how the government's poisoning us with the food. And I said, hot dog, let's go.
So you want to have my babies?
So I put a couple facts out. She's like, I know, it's crazy, this and that. And then in usual online dating app fashion, her profile was gone. Sick. Sick. So I'll have to start a conversation with somebody else again. Great. Can't wait to just continue wasting my time. Let's see, Rice Chex.
But it is true, though. I mean, what the government is doing to us is disgusting.
You about to jump down this rabbit hole?
Uh-oh.
In my opinion, I can't stand when I see foods that are the same as Europe or another nation.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And you look at our ingredients, you look at their ingredients, you're like, yo, bro, come on, man.
It's horrible.
What are we doing?
I know.
What are we doing? I don't understand. Why is it such a sin to like try to just have the people be healthy?
I know.
It takes less of a load on the medical system. The problem is a for-profit medical system where they make so much fucking money if people are sick versus healthy.
I know,
That's the problem.
It's horrible.
And so when we have that type of an establishment that's constantly getting paid on all of these medical procedures and pills and diagnoses. That's why if you go to one doctor for your gut issues, you go to one doctor, they'll send you to 4 others. Well, you need this recommendation for this specialist. You need this, you need this.
That's the thing with something like Rise.
Yes.
We don't deal with fucking doctors. Sorry, but we're not.
Function Health by Dr. Mark Hyman as well. He's got a system where $500 annually, Dr. Mark Hyman, send the check, $500 annually, you can go get over 100 biomarker panels done from lab work that your doctors aren't checking. They don't even know what the fuck to check.
Yes.
They don't even know.
I know.
They look at a chart and they go, yeah, within range.
I know.
My ferritin levels were 300 for a while.
Yeah.
300. And they went, well,
I know.
you're within range.
I know.
What?
I know.
Brother, no.
I know.
It's too high.
It's really bad.
Yeah. Well, you don't check any other boxes like you're healthy. It's like, I don't feel healthy.
I know. Well, so that was going back to what I was saying before, was the fact that people will normalize like all the like, oh, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 2 weeks. And then they'll do what I did and then be like, oh, I'm back on track. It's like, no, you've just destroyed your fucking gut lining. Now what? Like, how do you do this? And then the situation of coming out of that entire chaotic time, not good. Like I just felt everything that was wrong with me, I felt. And I told one of my friends, I was like, yo, my labs are going to come back so bad. I just know it. Cause every other time I've done labs, they were great.
Pristine.
They were great. And like, we wanted to make them obviously more optimal. So I would take like additional supplements on top of whatever. But if you're looking at them, they're great. They were great. My body is very adaptive and I work really well with that, thank God. But everybody normalizes. They all normalize that. I don't know how somebody could normalize the things that I've been feeling. How do you do that? Because you don't know better, because you don't know what good feels like. Mm-hmm. That's the issue.
Well, they just tell you, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Like, you know, live with it, essentially.
They're like, oh, I don't want to. My skin, my hair. And I'm like, well, you're losing your hair, not normal.
Yeah.
You have skin issues, not normal. Like there's all of these other situations that are going on that are underlying that people don't actually realize there is an underlying issue. And a lot of it's up here.
Oh, a ton of it's mental.
It's all connected.
Yep. Oh, the gut microbiome to the brain connection is insane. That's your gut instinct too. That's that feeling that you get in your gut. It actually is the link between neurological pathways. Yep. It's so crazy when you dive into the knowledge of what the body does.
It's insane. It's the most fascinating thing ever. And that's the cool thing though, I guess today, like as much negativity and toxicity that there is on social media, there is also a lot of good and useful information if you can find it. So
that's the thing, combing through everything and finding out the legitimate versus now the AI video versus the fake and all this shit.
Yes, exactly. It's wild.
And one of the problems that you said is when you were talking about competitors as well is not knowing for themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's like when they are presented something with, like, let's say a woman that's losing her hair or she has skin issues, this and that, a lot of times they go to their GP, they tell them they're fine. It's fine. It's just this, your levels are fine, this and that. And then they just don't know where else to go. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is it's so widely known that if you went to your doctor and the doctor said you're fine. Yeah. And you're just, you're aging. It's just like, I don't know if that's actually what is going on. I don't think that's an actual thing.
Exactly.
I'm aging?
I know.
What is that?
And this actually, it's a good point because going back to the children, there was actually a couple, I don't know, they came up on my reels, but they were 48. The woman was 48. The guy was 52. And they were like, we have 5 kids and we just had our last kid 3 years ago. Or their last 2 kids 3 years ago. And I was like, that is exactly the thing. Like they're both very healthy people who have clearly been prioritizing that throughout their entire relationship or their own personal lives. It's not that it's the norm to have kids at that age.
That's what I was going to say. Is she just an outlier? That's the only thing.
It could be, but it's also to show that these things are possible.
Yeah.
That's a huge factor. I mean, it's wild. There's a whole other part to being able to like spin down that road. It's crazy.
I think it's interesting about you wanting to educate your female competitors, especially because I'm an advocate for somebody guiding.
Yes.
Because I've talked to girls in the past that are going into preps and doing their thing. Mm-hmm. And I've just known girls that are doing it through the industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just train wreck stories.
Yeah. It's so sad.
And it's sad. And when I think about, you know, girls getting super, super lean, basically shutting down their hormones and then having no guidance on how to get back afterwards, you almost feel like a stranded island, shipwreck island.
Yeah.
That okay, you did your show, great. And then the coach just kind of drifts off into the sea. Bye. That was my guy.
Yeah.
Drifted off. I mean, that for me. And luckily I bounced back. But I mean, I feel like the toll is heavier on the female competitors than it is for the male competitors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I have a female athlete who competed. She hadn't had a cycle in like 10 years. First of all, you should not ever.
She had a cycle in 10 years?
Yeah.
Before the competing?
Uh-huh. Because she competed last year. And I took her through her reverse. Damn. Insane. So, and not with me. I didn't coach her through that. I coached her through the reverse. That's when we started. But a lot of like the no cycle was because of birth control, which is a whole other topic. But there was that.
I'd like you to touch on that because I'm very against it. But after this.
Yeah. So there's that. And then on top of, I guess, stopping birth control, because I don't know the whole story amongst that 10 years. But then she eventually went into a prep. You shouldn't be going into a prep without ever having your cycle back. You need to have your cycle. You need to have your hormones running. And also to progress efficiently in a prep, like whatever. So now take her through her reverse and talking about her period and everything. What happens? Reverse her, got her going with me for a few months. We got her cycle back. You know, now she's
shocked.
Yeah, she was like, she messaged me on like a Saturday, and I don't talk to people on Saturdays or something like that. And I just like basically was like in tears because that was one of my first experiences of getting somebody to cycle back after a decade of not a decade. Like that's insane.
Crazy.
It's insane. So that was a very rewarding feeling. And then now she's just, oh my God, she's an animal. She is progressing so amazing, and she'll be competing next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's cool. But that's part of it, you know? And then like people, you'll get somebody that's like, oh, well, my coach just told me in my off season not to get higher than this weight. And it's like, why? Like,
as long as you're not getting fat and you're blowing yourself out.
Exactly. But like your body is going to hold weight differently. Your muscle tissue is going to be different. Like your entire body is different after a show, in good ways or bad, you know, depending on how you treated your reverse.
Edema. I had edema.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Wasn't told.
Cool.
Yeah, my coach didn't tell me. He disappeared. Didn't tell me, hey, man, you might not want to eat all that shit after the show.
Everything.
I did after the show.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it.
I prepped for 23 weeks, and I was in college.
Yeah.
That was difficult. Mm-hmm. And off stage, I was ripping Easter candy that I hadn't eaten.
Oh, my God.
Peanut butter cups. We went out, got pizza. We went out, my whole family, got 2 pies of pizza. I ate 2 pies of pizza.
Yeah.
Went home, ate some peanut butter straight out of the jar.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't stop. Once that hunger signaling is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, your hormones
went to sleep,
are like, feed me.
Woke up the next morning, pancakes, eggs.
Everything.
Went to brunch with my friend, ate more fucking pancakes and eggs. Had sushi and a beer later in the...
Ow, my knees are starting to hurt.
It was like, I was starting to feel a little weird. I was like, oh, that's it. Okay, whatever. Sunday, I slowed down, but I kept eating a little bit. It was like, I kept eating shitty foods. Yeah. And then I was back, and then I drove back to college. And then Monday I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I went, what the fuck just happened? No abs.
Yeah.
Gone. I was shredded.
Mm-hmm.
I went, oh.
Yeah.
And then love handles the next couple of days. And then the water didn't know where to go. And then it was like ringing around everywhere. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, and I didn't really know. And then the dude at the time, Gino Sylvain, old school guy in the industry, he passed away, I think, a couple of years ago. But he told me, he's like, we got to get your water tables back to basics. Yeah. He's like, you should not stop doing cardio. You got to go do cardio. And I'm like, bro, I said 23 weeks of cardio. I don't want to do any more fucking cardio.
Yeah.
I had to get back on the Stairmaster. I was doing cardio to work the water out and this and that. And I never fully got back to like where I thought I was going to. I was skinny fat. I was like skinny fat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. And then a couple months went by and I just did a prep again because I was just like, well, I'm already in. Let me just go into further. And I did another prep to try to get lean again. And my mom, after the show, my mom goes, what do you want to eat? I went, burger fries.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
I said, that's all I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're back on tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was like, 'cause I'm not dealing with that shit again.
Yeah. It's slippery slope.
Yeah. Birth control.
Birth control.
So when you're a young guy, you're just like, oh, birth control is awesome.
Yeah.
I've always been like the scaredy cat guy.
Yeah.
That I've always scared of getting a girl pregnant.
Yeah.
So I was always like, even though she's on birth control, I still wore a condom. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to make sure we're
That's the smart and responsible thing to do. Yeah. That's good.
So yes, my friends would disagree, but I've always been in that camp, and a couple of those friends have kids now with people they didn't want to have kids with, so it's okay. I think I won. Anyway,
yeah.
I've always, as I'm getting older and I'm looking at what it's doing to women, it's scary.
Yeah,
and you're just, from my experience looking outside in, you're just prescribing this to young girls,
young women who are not being educated. That hi, I'm your doctor. You can trust me. Let me put you on a steroid. You okay with that?
Same one that told me I felt good.
Yeah.
And that you should just live with it.
Yeah.
Same fucking doctor.
Let me not run your labs, but you can just take this. Oh, your cramps are really bad? Take birth control. Oh, you're bleeding really heavily? Take birth control. That's their go-to. It's scary. It's sad and it's scary that women aren't being educated for why, right? Like, hey, let me tell you everything. I want you to read maybe this educational material, PDF or whatever kind of
pamphlet.
Yeah, like something, like give something, email them, especially with technology that we have. Let them educate themselves if they want to. And then, hey, make the choice. Sleep on it. Let's figure this out, right? Like can give them a choice. But people are also told, especially young women who might like gotten pregnant, now they might have to get an abortion or something. You should go on birth control just because it's safer.
It's safer.
It's just
you
easier.
don't have to worry about anything.
You don't have to have this happen again. Yeah. It's horrible. But even women too who are in their 20s or whatever, like they're being told, you know, because of, I spoke about this on my Instagram recently. Like I used to have debilitating cramps. Like it was what we thought was genetic. I was like, it must be because, my sister has it. I have it too. No, well, my mom never experienced that, right? Like nobody else in my family experienced that. We were 100% having estrogen and progesterone issues.
Oh, that what it is, just an imbalance.
It could be 100% that you're an estrogen dominant female. And you have to figure that out and you need to get to the root of the problem. But they don't do these things. You know, it's really sad. And I support, I have a lot of women who are on birth control or who have an IUD. But when they talk to me about what's going on with them, I'm like, I need you to understand this is likely related to your birth control.
The IUD, like procedure sounds horrific.
Horrific. And it's even,
I had a girl I was with for a little while and she talked to me about it. I was like, oh.
And then to get it out, horrific.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then you do have to understand, like, if you're seeing, you know, your labs come back, like, we might not be able to see what it's really like, what's going on, because you have that synthetic hormone in you.
I was going to ask, what are some of the downsides that you're seeing on the other end for women? Something
easily like high cortisol, estrogen dominance. I would say those two are major. So it's just the matter of like, do you want to be on birth control? Like, can I maybe legally, I can't say anything. I can't. I'm not a doctor. So I can't like be like, get the fuck off of birth control. But if they're going to ask me about wanting
your opinion,
to know, yes. And then like, well, what do you think I should do? I'm going to be, I can't tell you what to do. I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I would do and I'll talk about it as me. Because I never even went on the pill. I took the pill for one day when I was like 14 years old. 14, that's horrible. And I was so lightheaded and the doctor was like, it's probably just the brand. Let's put you on another brand. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I got like an ick feeling from it. My sister was on it for, I think, a little bit. But again, you know what's so sad is the fact that at that age, it was like cigarettes. Like it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To do it.
When you're younger, it's
yeah,
like,
it's
cool.
I'm on birth control.
Yeah.
You felt mature and you felt like older. It's pathetic, you know? Ugh, birth control. Yeah, man.
So let me ask you this. So you're thinking of doing the New York Pro 2026?
I'd love to.
So what next year is a growth? Well, after the GI issues, you're going into a growth phase, or are you actually gonna give yourself some time to just enjoy?
I mean, I almost feel like I'm in a growth phase right now. Like right now we're peeling back a little bit because I have a lot of inflammation going on, but I'm growing. I'm just a freak when it comes to growth. Luckily I am like that. I put on muscle tissue very easily. But I'd like to clean up a little bit. So maybe with like going through the gut protocol, it might be a great kind of like body recomposition period for me. I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You might have to gain weight through that process because your body needs to do that to come out the other end healthy. You're probably going to gain a little bit, lose a little bit. Could be a whole fluctuation of things. I don't know. I don't know until I start it.
Yeah.
But let's say I come out of this, I might want to kind of clean up. Because most importantly, for me and my mental, I want to feel good. And I like to look good, you know? So do that and then hopefully dive into a growth phase after that. But I'm also just like, I always treat whatever phase I'm in like a growth phase.
Yeah.
It's still just how many calories am I eating is the difference. I train the exact way. The only thing is when you are in a gut protocol, you should be training at a lower stimulus. So instead of being like I'm at a 1 RIR right now, instead of going like to failure on everything, I'd have to be put at like a 3 RIR which is kind of mentally nice because then it takes like a lot of like that mental toll off of you for a little bit. I wreck myself.
Yeah.
But I like doing it. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. That's how I was when I was training like that.
Yeah.
I was training heavy and big compound movements all the time. I did Squattober. Squattober was great.
You did do that.
Squattober was
I
great.
recall.
Yes.
Yeah.
You saw me there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 365 for one felt good. I could have went 405, but I just was early. Nick was spotting me.
Oh, I hear you.
I said, I'm good on this. I'm happy.
Yes.
With 365. And then I was doing December because I wanted to do one more strength based for the month and then go back to doing the HIIT workouts.
Yeah.
But the HIIT workouts, I want to complement jujitsu. My problem was when I did jujitsu, I did HIIT workouts 5 to 6 days a week on top of jujitsu, rolling 7 to 8 days a week.
That's a lot.
Not a week, but 7 to 8 days straight and then taking one rest day and then doing it again.
Yeah.
My CNS was fried.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the rolling, just from like everything and just the HIIT workouts, sprints and all that shit. So it was tough. So now I'm thinking of competing in April for jiu-jitsu.
Fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Have you competed yet?
No.
Okay.
So I'll be competing as a blue belt.
Fun.
So it's going to be way harder than the white belt trials that
Cool.
Theoretically, like the way that it goes for those that don't know is you want to compete at the tail end of your belt. You want to compete right before you're going to get promoted as a white belt because you're going to be mostly better than all the white belts because you're about to be a blue belt. But now competing as a blue belt, I'm going against a lot of guys that are about to be purple belts.
Yeah.
Or that guys that are sandbaggers and they're just like 5 years, 6 years as a blue belt and they really should have been like a brown belt already.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, okay. So you gotta take that. My biggest thing is like you're in my studio, right? This is what I do for work.
Yeah.
This is not my job. This is just more of like a fun project on the side. But like the media side of things, shooting content, all that stuff, that's my job.
Yeah.
And it's just me. So it's like I get very nervous about getting injured at a competition and then I can't work.
Yes.
So that's my biggest gripe. It's not so much like I'm worried about getting my ass choked out in front of everybody. It is what it is. Like my ass choked out all the time at class.
Yeah.
But now, so it's more in the terms of like, oh God, if, you know.
Oh no, I totally hear you. When I was in, this is so stupid, but like my physique is part of like my brand, right? But when I was in prep, like people were like, some of my friends, let's go to like one of those, like, what are they? Like the bouncy places. And I was like, yo, I'll break a fucking knee. Right now, I will break an ankle. I can't risk that.
I have my buddy Jay, who's a brown belt. Jay's the shit. Super nice guy. He blew both of his knees out at the bouncy spot.
No, the bouncy spot. What is it called?
Bounce.
Oh, it's called.
I think it's called bounce or sky
right.
something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, sky jump or some shit
both
like that.
Both of his knees?
Both.
No.
Blew both of them out.
This is why.
Not doing it.
I know. I get nervous to have fun.
Not doing it.
I know it's a lot.
I'm not doing it. I do enough risky shit like walk the wolf in town. He's risky enough.
I get it.
Yeah. So totally. I want to do, I really do. Cause like I look around and I look at all the people doing high rocks and all this stuff and you competing in bodybuilding and all this stuff. And you just go, I like to put it out there and just like, you're doing all this training every single day, rolling and all that. Why not, put it on a stage and try to do it? Because there's a lot of people around me, and it's no offense to these specific people, but there are a lot of people around me that I've seen compete that get medals, and I go, I kind of womp on you in training. So, I mean, maybe I could do some damage at a competition.
Yeah.
Or maybe I get my ass kicked and I just go against guys that are just that much better. But I'm in that mental phase. So anyway, so I was supposed to do December. I joined Bev for the month again. I just haven't gotten there. So I'm kind of just like in the middle. Yeah. I did OG, that HIIT place. I did it Wednesday morning. No. Yeah, yesterday morning. Did it yesterday morning at 5 a.m. I went and I did their HIIT class.
Died.
I mean, 700 calories I burned, but I was like, fuck, I need this again. Yeah. I really do.
That's good.
I was like, damn, I need this again. Like the strength side, I'm cool. Like I don't need them to do strength side with me, but Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are their full body conditioning days. I'm kind of just like,
good.
I got to hit those maybe once or twice a week on top of regular jujitsu. And then there's my package.
Yeah.
Because jujitsu is like my focus now. I want to get really nasty.
Good.
That, and I want to do the tactical, if you want to do the tactical games with me.
Oh, gosh.
Tactical games in July, I'm thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's like CrossFit.
Nick, do you realize?
I know, now I'm thinking about it.
That chapter is over.
I know, but there's shooting involved.
I know.
It's literally CrossFit with guns. It's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool. So I think I may try to do the one in New Hampshire in July.
Cool.
So I'm kind of I'm getting into the guns now too, so I'm kind of
No, that's
into
cool.
the shooting side of things now too, and I'm trying not to get lead poisoning. So there's always something. There's always fucking something. Yeah, I read an article yesterday. They're like, you guys not touch the bullets. You know how much lead's on the bullets, and everyone's just like, yeah, I got my blood work done. I'm just going, what?
That's cool.
Can't even load the fucking gun. Yeah, you can't even touch the gun. I was like fucking around with the magazines.
I had no idea.
I was fucking around with the magazines, playing Xbox, touching them, touching my controller, eating food. I don't know. So I'm just like, oh, that's great. I've been ingesting lead.
I've never known that.
Yep, just ingesting.
Wow,
lead.
fun fact of the day.
Yeah, don't touch magazines and the guns. Like there are guys that you finish at the range, you're supposed to wash your face and your hands. You're supposed
Do cops know this? Because my ex-husband was a cop, and I used
probably
to be
not.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
They probably don't. Yeah, they probably have no idea.
Horrible.
Yeah, you're supposed to wash your hands, when you're firing. Afterwards, wash your face with cold water and soap. Wash, get it off. Right when you get home, strip down into the wash. They actually make
This is mind blowing.
They actually make D-lead, D-lead detergent to get the lead out of your clothing. You're supposed to keep the bag that you go to the range with separate from all your other stuff, because if it gets to your other stuff and you travel, they'll detect the gunpowder through TSA, and then you'll get strip search.
Definitely didn't know this because just based off of our laundry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's wild.
There's a lot of things with that, and then obviously when you touch and you load magazines, there's a lot of lead casing. There's a lot of lead on the outside of the brass casings. It's very interesting.
My God,
I'm learning a lot about it now. It's very interesting.
We're not safe anywhere.
We're not safe anywhere. Yeah, it's not that killing us. It's fucking the cereals, the rice checks,
literally.
The rice
Lucky
checks.
Charms.
Lucky Charms, red 50.
They're so good.
They're so good. I just want the marshmallows. That's all I want.
Love it.
I don't want that cardboard eggs in there.
No, I like the balance of it.
No,
Yeah.
just marshmallows. Yeah, that's the fat side of me.
Yeah, not me right now though. Can't have it.
You have nothing.
I'll blow up.
No fad. Low fad.
Low fat.
No fad.
Low fat, no fat,
No
basically.
fad.
God, my life. All I want is a pizza.
And I'm going to end off on, you just had me thinking about pizza. What's the current stack right now? Like, what are your go-to, I'm always curious, vitamins?
Oh,
What?
everything.
What? Yeah, but if you could only have let's say 5 daily.
Oh, that's easy. Multivitamin.
What multivitamin? Do you take a specific one?
I do, and I swear by them.
Talk to me.
They're amazing. Morphogen Nutrition.
Morphogen? Okay.
Nutrition, yep. I do their multivitamin, their omega, which also has your D and your K. What other staples would I say for people?
Just say hydroxycut. I'm leaving. I'm leaving my own studio. I'm leaving you here by yourself.
Elite. Why do I have 3 up? Didn't I just say 2?
Yeah. Oh, you said
It has your
Morphogen,
D and your K. I said
D and K.
your omegas. I'm trying to wait. Hold on. Let me grab my phone and go through.
Your gut results are going to be on the phone.
No, stop. I won't open that.
Are they there?
No, that's in my email.
Okay.
Oh my God. Why am I blanking right now? So here's the thing. You definitely want to see what the person needs, right?
You want to get blood levels done and then see the deficiencies, is what you're saying?
Correct. Exactly. So for me right now, everything I'm taking, you ready for this? Okay, we have
Do we have enough time?
Yeah, we do. We have an AM and a PM drink, which is for GI.
Okay.
And just to help with
Is it a specific drink?
Yes. So it's glutamine powder with aloe vera juice.
Okay.
Lemon juice.
Great for the gut.
It's phenomenal. All of this is lemon juice and apple cider vinegar.
Is it aloe vera that you buy in a bottle, or are you making it yourself? Because my mom was making it herself for a while.
No, I buy it in the bottle.
She was buying the leaves and cutting the leaves.
That's a whole process.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
I don't have enough time.
It was so slimy. I was like, please just buy it juiced up already.
So that's AM and PM. Then I take my omegas, my multi. I use creatine every day. I use testosterone by Morphogen because my test levels are a little bit on the lower side. I use DIM, Tuca.
What's DIM?
DIM is something that essentially helps with detoxifying estrogen. Tuca, NAC, C-iodine, selenium, chasteberry, and then a thyro boost. So a lot of that is also because of my entire thyroid panel. But yeah, so So there's that. And I think that, that's it. But that's it for right now.
Yeah.
Once I get those
GI
results back, a huge part of it, because the cool thing is with Rise, you can go hybrid with like also doing antibiotic if your results need it and we're allowed for it with natural supplements. There's so many though.
Yeah.
You take so many, but it's also like you're killing off things that are internally going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to. So for me, it's like, I don't give a shit. I'll take whatever, a cereal bowl of pills if I have to in order to feel normal and better again. Plus also like reset your entire receptors. Yes, please. You know?
If you get some type of a parasite cleanse that you hear about, I definitely want to take one.
I don't even know if it would essentially be a cleanse. I think
evidently they deworm and do parasite cleanses in most other countries except the United States. It's not prevalent. It's weird. Fucking weird.
There's a lot of supplements out there that will just like help flush all that. So
that's what I want.
Yeah.
If you talk to your coach and he knows something, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I should run years of sushi consumption. I definitely feel like I should.
Sushi sounds so good right now.
Yeah. We have good sushi in town.
Where?
Everywhere.
Oh, like you're saying Long Island?
I mean, no, in Huntington.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Kashi is great.
Oh, Kashi's over here?
Yep. Kashi.
Yeah, Kashi's fantastic. Have you ever been to Miko?
I have.
Miko is one of my favorites.
Miko's really good. Yep.
So good.
And Miko's good. We also have Toa.
Okay.
We have Toa in town.
Okay.
We have Umami, which is a really good sushi spot too. And then there's a good lunch special spot. 3 rolls for like $18, $17.
Yeah.
With soup. And that one's over there. I don't know the name. I forget the name of it. Yeah, I'm a sushi
You've
guy.
been to Vauxhall?
I have not had their burger.
Bro.
I heard their burger is great.
What did you eat? A salad?
I didn't get anything. I sat there like a fucking weirdo.
You know I'm good. I'll pass. I'll have some water. What'd you get?
I'll have a water. I'll have cranberry juice.
Not the cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nick, it's the best burger you're ever going to eat in your life.
Really? That good?
Yes. I'm a foodie, just so you know.
Have you had No Good Burger Joint?
Yes.
Better than No Good Burger Joint?
100%.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Marcello's gonna be
It's
upset.
right here.
All right, I gotta go.
You have to go.
All right. Can you have a burger?
No.
I was gonna say, let's go get a burger.
The gluten and the cheese.
That's true. It's gonna rip us
And
apart.
I will not be like, can I have a lettuce burger? Rather kill myself.
Yeah, no. You're gonna eat the whole thing. If I'm going in, I'm going in.
No. When people are like, I had a cheat meal and I had a lettuce burger, I'm like, oh, your disappointment.
I used to get all you can eat sushi.
I don't blame you.
I used to get all you can eat sushi, and it was disgusting how much I would eat. Yeah, and then I was away at school at the time for the prep, and so nobody would talk to me until after I had my all you can eat sushi, because then I'd be friendly.
I get it.
Yeah, I was a miserable shit. Tilapia 6 meals a day.
No.
No. Anyway, I appreciate you for coming down.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would love to have you again.
Yeah, would love to.
Come down, talk about some amazing I want to hear about the gut protocol.
The gut protocol. Hopefully I'll be out and I'll be like peeled. Not going to be peeled, but I'll be in shape.
You're always in shape. Listen, even in your off season, you look great.
Yes.
You keep yourself to a standard, and
I have to.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a walking business card.
Exactly.
For real. I mean, girls want to aspire to look like you.
Yeah.
You're able to say, hey, this is how we do it. Like,
yeah.
Imagine. I mean, listen. Imagine if you looked horrible. No one's gonna want to work.
No.
Yeah, no one's gonna want to work with you. They'd be like, no, I'm good on that.
No.
All right, I'm good on that. But this is episode 120.
Wow.
If you want to let everybody know how they can follow you, if they don't already, get in touch with you if they want coaching.
Yeah, I would love to give you.
Thing.
I don't even remember so my Instagram, because I don't even remember
There's
what
an
it was.
underscore in there.
There is, yeah. So Francesca Emanuele _. And then link in my bio. I coach lifestyle and competitive athletes, also do posing for wellness and bikini. So there's that. But if you are experiencing any underlying health issues that you feel like need further discussion, talk, whatever it is, then I would love to have a consult call with you and kind of get to the root of the problem. Reach out to me. Yeah.
And local in Long Island.
I am on Long Island.
But there's people that listen everywhere on the
yeah, I was going to say, like, I would 95% of my entire roster is outside of New York, so online works just as good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, please share, like, subscribe, do all the things that help grow the show so I can continue sitting down with amazing human beings like Francesca. On that note, I appreciate everybody for fucking with us. But for now, Peace.